As urban designers, we've been facing the serious challenges of growth and amenity within a river valley, and a river valley that's surrounded by national parks and bordered by beaches. And there's a lot of amenity we want to maintain. We want to maintain the riparian systems, we want to maintain the growth of food, we want people to not travel too far to work, we want the growth to bring better amenity. And we have been involved in a number of significant projects that are changing the direction of this city and changing the direction of the city over a number of years, always heading in a better direction. So the opportunity with that sort of vision ahead of us and the sort of work we were doing to bring someone like Duncan Corrigall and his talents that he'd shown in his work in Harvard, in his work in Boston, his work with the Olympics, to these sort of projects was just one we couldn't miss.
My name is Duncan Corrigall. I'm the new Director of Urban Design at Jack+Cottier. Well, I've been working internationally for a number of years and always keeping an eye on the big projects, the city-shaping projects in Sydney. And that included very much the Bays precinct, which AJ+C were leading the urban design for. And so as I readied to move home, AJ+C had just received the World Future Master Plan of the Year award for the Sydney Fish Markets reference scheme. And so I sort of looked at that and thought, well, that's the firm for me. So the Sydney Fish Markets was really a bit of a masterstroke for AJ+C in that they reframed the conversation of the fish markets as a public space project. So they turned something that was about the difficulties in recreating this great Sydney institution, and it turned it into a story about how we would provide 3 hectares of new public open space and what that could do for the city. So by simply moving it 200-300 metres, we opened up 5-6 kilometres of Sydney's waterfront. Sydney is a peculiar city in many ways. It's geographically speaking, it's as large as Lebanon. The distance between the Sydney CBD, where Jack+Cottier has been working for 60 years, the distance from there to Parramatta, in most countries would be considered 2 separate cities entirely. So in Parramatta now we're working on several new neighbourhoods, both within the core and just around it. But increasingly we're finding that our work is moving further west as we follow the infrastructure and as design leads the infrastructure. And we're looking at the far western Sydney. Yeah, so right now we've been working with the Western Sydney Parklands Trust on the pilot project which will be a series of community hubs through the parklands. And the idea for these is that we'll lead with schools, with healthcare, with other social infrastructure embedded in the parklands, and that will be provided in advance of the communities that are planned for Western Sydney. It'll be really interesting because you'll turn the parklands, which are this great public asset for Sydney, into the foundation stone for this new city that's going to be built around them. So it really will be the Western Parkland city.